Alphonso Davies might not be a veteran, but the young Canadian plays with an attitude that simply belies his age. At the age of 19, the youngster is already considered one of the finest left-backs in the world, and people have even gone as far as to say that he's a generational talent. Who would have thought that a young boy from an immigrant family would be flying Canada's colours so brightly and responsibly like Davies has? The story of Davies is a heartwarming tale of perseverance, circumstances and sheer will. Since the turn of the new century, a lot's changed in football. Teams are playing the beautiful game with much more intensity than ever before, while defenders are now required to be a bit more diverse when it comes to their overall skill set. Indeed, coaches at the best clubs in the world now prefer more rounded athletes than specialists. This might be the reason why players such as Mario Götze are no more as successful as they were a few years back. The fullback position has gone through a huge period of transformation. From being just another man required to defend, a fullback is now expected to be that extra outlet for a team on the offensive front. Fullbacks nowadays are required to be more athletic and need to have a decent passing range as well. This isn't a role for everyone, which is perhaps why we cannot really bump into a lot of world-class fullbacks these days that are capable of delivering consistently. Alphonso Davies has come really far from his humble beginnings. Davies is the face of Canadian football right now and is arguably one of the most gifted players to have ever come out of the MLS. What is telling is not where he's going, but rather where he's come from. The First Liberian Civil War was one of the darkest moments in human history. Fearing for their lives, the Davies left for Ghana, where Alphonso was born inside of a refugee camp. This was a difficult life. Every day the family would search for clear water, food, and the hours were spent just trying to survive. Alphonso's father, Debea, said that the family did not want to just survive. They wanted a better life for their son, and that's when the opportunity to leave Africa presented itself. The family managed to escape for Canada when Alphonso was 5. They eventually found residence in Edmonton, Alberta. To ensure that they had a better future, the family worked long hours. With 2 younger siblings, Alphonso also helped around while attending a local school where his talents were noticed. His first sports coach, Melissa Guzzo, said that Alphonso did everything with a smile on his face and was a natural when it came to sports. While he was making an impression in the Free Footy League, his talents needed the right platform to be noticed. Guzzo decided to call Free Footy founder Tim Adams and implored him to look at Davies. Adams says that the moment he laid his eyes on Davies, he knew there was something special about the youngster. Adams would get a football coach to have a look, who would later want Davies to join his program. Marco Bossio became a huge fan on the youngster and admitted that he was blown away by Davies' skill. There was something special about this boy, he said. He was fast, he had unbelievable control of the ball. I knew that was something special at that age. Free footy was the only way Alphonso Davies was able to play the game he loved without his parents worrying about paying the football fees. The initiative was a crucial point in the youngster's career, so you can imagine how different things could have been had there not been anything like this on offer. Davies would go on to join the local club Nicholas Academy, which was followed swiftly by a move to Edmonton Strikers. It was at St. Nicholas that Davies decided to turn things around for him and his family by pursuing a career in football. He did not have any resources, but he had 2 things: supreme talent and a big heart. Back in 2016, Davies was a precocious talent, playing with the Vancouver Whitecaps in the Major League Soccer. At the time, he was a relatively unknown quantity. Scouts from Man United and Bayern Munich were monitoring him, but eventually it was the Bavarians who made the move. Once it became known that Munich had made an offer, the likes of VfB Stuttgart, Manchester United and Barcelona made their interest known as well. Of course, it was the Bavarians who impressed Davies the most, thanks to a well-thought-out plan for his development and eventual integration with the first team. Davies was promised regular first-team outings and a support system that would not affect his stay. The transfer was finally agreed as Bayern paid the Whitecaps €11.3 million for one of the most coveted players on the planet. It's a story that would melt your heart. Born in a refugee camp in Ghana to Liberian parents managing to flee from the political turmoil, the youngster arrived in Canada when he was 5. As his parents worked hard round the clock to provide for the family, it became clear that Davies was a rare talent. Transition in Europe. So, how is it that Alphonso Davies evolved from a winger to a modern fullback? During his entire time in the MLS, Davies was playing as a winger, but at Bayern Munich he was transformed into a one-of-a-kind fullback. The youngster has actually a very high defensive work rate, as evidenced by the number of tackles, 1.41, he won per game in the 2018 MLS season. Davies also had 1.26 interceptions per 90 minutes in the same season. In his first appearance of the season in a game against RB Leipzig, Davies showcased some truly great defensive qualities. During many instances throughout the game, the young fullback would return to his defensive duties very quickly every time a Bayern Munich attacking move broke down. Now, such an impressive work rate would be amazing for most of the teams in Europe, but not necessary for Bayern Munich, who currently have the highest average possession in the league. The reigning German champions don't require such a work rate from their wingers. This is why Davies was instead deployed as a fullback, since that allows him to go further up the pitch and become another option in attack, while also recovering well when the need arises. While Munich do like to operate in a 4-3-3 formation, they also have a tendency to drop their pivot deep in their own territory. This allows the team's fullbacks to operate further up the pitch, which as a consequence changes the formation to a 3-4-3. Therefore, being a fullback doesn't impede upon Davies' attacking output. Regardless of where he's placed, Davies' attacking tendencies can't be contained. Most of his movements are in the opposition half, which clearly proves that he's a great athlete, and having him paired up with a winger such as Serge Gnabry can make life difficult for teams. Furthermore, Alphonso Davies has blistering pace, which has been put on display throughout the course of his career in Germany. His pace can be deadly, especially when the team is in attacking mode. Throughout the 2019-20 campaign, Davies' pace and direct runs have made things really difficult for many defenders out there. The way he receives the ball and then starts galloping like a roadrunner creates a lot of space for his teammates to exploit. If you don't believe a word that we say, how about you watch the entire game against Barcelona? We're not even going to talk about the scoreline again, but what we can tell you is that there was a lot of moments throughout that encounter where Davies showed himself to be a class apart from a lot of players in the Barcelona team. While he didn't set the world alight with his performance in the final, Davies has done enough to justify that he's only going to get better with each passing season. But it isn't just his forward runs that make Davies an amazing player to have. Moving on to the defensive side of things, Davies' pace has been his greatest asset. The youngster averages 11.22 recoveries and 5.19 interceptions per 90 minutes, which is another great reason why the fullback role is made for him. In a Champions League game against Chelsea, one particular moment showed how effective Davies is when it comes to catching on to an opponent. During one of the plays, Mason Mount received a through ball and had a 3-yard head start on Davies. However, the Canadian easily recovered the ball and even managed to hold off the England international as the ball went out for a goal kick. The impressive manner in which he made the recovery meant that Mount was even unable to hit the target or square the ball to one of his teammates. But hey, if you thought that this was it, well, we've got news for you. Pace, recovery and overlapping runs aren't the only tools that make Davies such a huge talent. As a wide player, it's important to have a good final ball, and the Canadian has one. Like most left backs, Davies can play a classical cross, but he also has the ability to go for a cutback and even a low cross, which is a very difficult skill to execute, especially if you're running at such searing pace. The fact that he has such players as Thomas Müller and Robert Lewandowski, who love to look for space around him, means that there's always a goal-scoring opportunity if one of his crosses or cutbacks find their way home. In the same game against Chelsea, Davies made one of his trademark runs that led him to the home side's penalty area. Although he might have gone for glory, the Canadian fullback looked up and put in a low cross towards the back post, where Lewandowski simply had to show the inside of his boot to score a simple goal. This season, Davies has a 34.5% crossing accuracy, which isn't that good, but not that bad either. It's clear that the teenager has great vision when it comes to finding a teammate. And it's truly frightening to know that despite achieving so much in his fledgling career already, Davies will continue developing further. With 2 Bundesliga titles and a Champions League winners' medal, the young Canadian is on the right track, and we wouldn't be surprised if he ends up helping himself to more top honours in the coming years. Want to know how we never miss a match? With Fubo TV, you can stream any game, anytime, anywhere. Use our link in the description to start for free and watch your favourite teams live.